What are you doing, Princess?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. And I hope you're ready for today's event.
What are you doing, Princess?
I'm good. How
You
about
are
you?
breaking up, Princess.
I'm
You
good.
said
Thank you.
something.
Okay. Yeah, I said hope you're ready
And
for
I hope
today's event.
you're ready for today's event.
What are you doing, Princess?
I'm good. How about
You are
you?
breaking up, Princess.
I'm good.
You said
Thank you.
something.
Yeah, I said hope you're ready
And
for
I hope
today's
you're
event.
ready for today's event.
What are you doing, Princess? You are breaking up, Princess. You said something.
Yeah, I said hope you're ready for today's event.
You are breaking up, Princess. You said something.
Yeah, I said hope you're ready for today's event.
You are breaking up, Princess. You said something.
Yeah, I said hope you're ready for
Okay, make yourselves comfortable, get your cups of tea, get your cups of coffee, your water, whatever you need, and we'll be kicking off in just a few minutes' time. Okay, make yourselves comfortable, get your cups of tea, get your cups of coffee, your water, whatever you need, and we'll be kicking off in just a few minutes' time. Hello, welcome to another session of our GenAI Business Applications Special Series, which we're running on a weekly basis. And I'm really looking forward to this week. We've got a fantastic member of the team with us as well. We're going to be talking about all things modern HR with Microsoft 365 to enable workforce management. And ultimately, that comes down to providing people-centered tools for us to use to become more productive, become better team members, become more aware, and hopefully we'll give you a flavor of all of those things on this call today. So thank you very much for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from around the world. Thank you very, very much for coming here today. Now, just a few bits and pieces. If you would like to drop your name in the chat and tell us where you're from, that would be great. If you've got any main IT challenges, HR challenges, those sorts of things, that would also be amazing to hear about. So please feel free to engage. And as we're going through the session today, let's just all remember that we are all human beings. This is a recorded session. And encourage you all to respect each other on the call, but please feel free to come off mute if you want to chat. So for those of us who get energy from talking to each other and having conversations, then by all means, come through and let us know on that. Just having a couple of bits and pieces here. Let me just make sure that we've got things in play. We're going to be going through a number of Microsoft applications today, but feel free to, as I say, engage. This is a safe learning zone. A lot of this is new technology, but what we would really like to do is help you understand how we've been essentially using some of these tools over the last 3 years as a business, and hopefully you'll pick something up from our learning experiences as we go through. So hopefully you can all see the slide deck, but if you could just give us a thumbs up in the chat, that would be great, just to make sure that everyone can see what's expected. I am Gareth Jones. I have been in this industry for many years, but you're welcome to look at my profile and what I stand for and all the other things. But what I'm really super excited about today is welcoming Jolanta Moniewska as a member of our team. She is a transformational HR CIPD certified leader, and she's passionate about HR process excellence, HRIS systems, with a multi-year career experience in design and delivery of transformational HR. So please feel free to reach out to her, but we're going to be joined on the call today as we go through our session, which looks a little bit like this. My lights have just gone off for some reason, so I'll just turn that back on. We are going to be talking about something which I've labeled the Microsoft HR multiverse, because let's face it, HR ecosystems sound awesome, but it's time to marvel them up and have a multiverse. And we've started looking at quantum computing and the multiple variants that we can do there. I think that feels a bit more on key. We are going to be then inviting our key speaker today to have some reflections on teams, goals, insights, learning, and how to boost employee engagement. Some learning lessons from our engagement with these business tools called Viva over the last few years at Lightrise, and specifically what Jolanta thinks from that from a HR professional's point of view. And I say, really excited to have her today. A lot of experience with Amazon HR tools and those sorts of things, some real great perspectives. We are then going to be taking a look at some, if you've been joining us on these sessions, we've been using some demos to take you through some guided tours of what these things look like. Very sensitive about using our own data for key reasons. But what we have some recordings here with demo materials to take you through particular journeys for that. And then right at the end, we've got some interactive QA. Depends who wants to join on the call, depends who's talking to us. But feel free to reach out to us if you are watching this as a playback or you are live on the call. And I can see lots of people waiting already. So that is really, really good news. Okay. Now, this is a little surprise. It is getting towards the festive season, and we've got a free gift at the end of this session. We've been giving you out links to guide you and signpost you towards things like co-pilot scenarios and specific use case scenarios for your business to help you accelerate. Well, we've got a special one today where if you provide us with your details, we will provide you with 250 process-based HR user stories to enable you to structure and accelerate your journey in 2025. So please keep around if you can for those. But as I've said, this is over a lunchtime for some of you. So please make sure you're looking after yourselves and getting a break too. I ate before I come on. So this is now what we are chatting about, the Microsoft HR multiverse. And what we can see on screen are a number of icons. And these icons represent key parts of what is called the Viva Suite. Now, for anyone who's been watching in this space for the last few years, Microsoft have been making some fantastic acquisitions of people-centered, HR-centered tools which we can use irrespective of the HR information system or HRIS system that we are using. So we could be using SAP, Workday, Oracle, iBob, Personio. There's a list as long as my arm, which isn't very long, so it's probably even longer than that. You can use all of these tools together with those things. It just requires this thing, which in the past is called Azure Active Directory. It's now named Entra, but it's your identity management piece around things. So I'm going to quickly give you a whistle-stop tour of all of these. So Amplify is around about taking your senior voice or leadership voice, your omni-channel internal communications experience, and Amplify provides a tool to essentially achieve all of those things. Connections. So this is more about connecting your bits of people data together and being able to leverage information which Microsoft holds on your identity and pushing that out to new places. And the reason that you might want to do that is perhaps you're thinking about your employee journey in the same way that you might think about a customer journey or a supplier journey, and how that can look digitally excellent. And you might put bits of information in different places, such as SharePoint sites and Teams, etc. Glint is an acquisition. It was called Glint, and this is a whole suite of feedback tools, which we'll be driving into in a little bit more detail to get today. Goals, a way of setting up your strategic goals across your business and driving top-down approaches or even bottom-up approaches. And this can be on a discrete project basis or a more strategic basis across an organization. Lots and lots of use case for scenarios. We've been using that since day one. It's driven us forward as a business, and everyone hopefully knows the direction where we're going and what their contributions make. Insights. This is all around workforce analysis out of the box without any sophisticated levels of deep-rooted analytical work to get value. It's there, the reports are there, the insights are there, and it helps you and it helps me with my own well-being. And we'll talk about red flags and all of that sort of thing later. But some really exciting things going on there too. Learning. So a bit like a learning management system, Viva has its own learning component, but it's more about surfacing the information that you have throughout your organization, be it structured learning programs with measurements for understanding whether that's been successful or not, through to trying to imitate the conversations that go on in what is still a very valuable thing to do, which is going into the office environment at an appropriate level, depending on what industry you are, and having those sorts of water cooler chats. You learn by osmosis. It's part of the way that things happen. You soak in things from the outside environment, while learning starts to point you towards things that it thinks might be useful based on your telemetry. So that's really quite interesting as well. I appreciate why I'm overrunning slightly. I'm going to quickly do a whistle-stop tour through the rest, and then we're going to crack on. Pulse surveys, sales. No one likes having chats and then typing loads of notes, whether it's a salesperson or a HR person or any other person, because we are people, and we like having chats and not necessarily writing up the chat afterwards. But it is absolutely critical to providing good levels of service throughout all industries. We couldn't talk about HR without touching on Dynamics HR, which is Microsoft's key HRIS system. It covers all of the components in an employee lifecycle: leave, absence, compensation, benefits, self-service, onboarding, offboarding, task management, workflows, etc., expense management. We're not going to do anything really on this today. Most of our focus is on the rest of the Viva stack. but we had to call it out. And again, we won't be talking too much, but we couldn't talk about the employee experience and the HR multiverse without touching on Teams and Loop. And Loop is a very Teams-centric type solution. We don't use it internally, but we're very excited by it. And we couldn't not mention, of course, Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI assistant, which links all of these things up and provides things much more intuitively for us. And to talk about Copilot, did you know, here's a good little prompt, went in there earlier today and used this prompt on the left-hand side, provide me with some referenceable statistics, which I couldn't even spell properly, on workforce engagement and well-being. And then there it went. And it went through and it created some really interesting facts here, which I thought linked in quite well with what we're talking about today. Those are some references there that you can go into, but just to call out, nearly 3 in 5 employees have experienced negative impacts of work-related stress in the past month. We've talked, certainly in some of our implementations, around the average number of days lost due to absence and lots of things because of all sorts of cultures. And sometimes those cultures are driven by lots of red flags. The tools that we've just identified, and courtesy and call out to Hacking HR on LinkedIn, where I took this from, but it's a really good synopsis of what types of behaviors go on in organizations which could contribute towards problems. And all of these different tools, which we've touched on, I've just introduced you to a few logos, they can really help towards pushing an organization and its culture towards the more green side of things. Now, we're always keen to say this, these are IT tools. These are IT tools. You can turn them on, but unless you really think about how to make changes to a culture and think about all the things that HR experts are well known for achieving success in, then it was just going to be an IT tool. You need to think about how you're communicating this within your organization, how you're setting it up, how you're rolling it out, and all of those types of things. And at this point in the juncture, which I would like to welcome to the call, Jolanta, who's going to provide us with some of the insights on her journey with us and implementing these tools, how they got the best of them on this call today. So Jolanta, if you would like to come off of mute and join, that would be great. I'm just going to drink my coffee.
Have a pause. Good day, everyone. First of all, thanks, Garrett, for having me here today. I already introduced. My name is Jolanta, and I've been working as an HR business partner at Lightrise Consulting for just over a year now. I've been in HR for over a decade, and during that time, I've seen how the right tools can make a huge difference in the way business is operating. So I'm super excited to share some thoughts on Microsoft Viva with you all. Whether you're a part of a big organization or a small team as ours at Lightrise, Viva has some amazing features to help teams stay organized, connected, and actually give you the nice start to grow. You should think of Viva as an extension of the tool you're already using in Microsoft 365, like Teams, SharePoint, Outlook. This is the great thing about it, because those already fit right within what you actually can access. So when we think about the implementation, there is not much extra work to get started. Let me just bring you some key features which I found internally as a great way to operate efficiently and also support employee engagement. And I will start with the tool which I treasure, is a Viva Goal, which is all about connecting individual goals with the bigger picture of where company is heading. For a smaller team, goal setting might not be a priority, but believe me or not, it's a game changer when you're looking to grow. And this is what we all want to. Clear, shared goal, keep everyone on the same page, and make scaling up so much smoother. So even with the team of 5, thinking about setting them sooner than later is the way to go and grow. Another tool which I found very helpful, especially now with the remote setting or hybrid work, which is quite trending, is a Viva connection. It does tackle all the challenges you would face in a remote environment. It's basically a one-stop hub where your team can check the company updates, news, go and search for important resources. It can be accessed anytime from anywhere. There is no limitation. It's great for keeping everyone aligned and give the feeling of belonging for the employee, even if you are working in a different places. I will mention the last, but it's not for sure. It's not the least one, which is a Viva Engage tool. It does create a space where employee can connect and share the ideas. It's like a virtual water cooler, but with a purpose. It helps build a culture of collaboration and keeps everyone engaged. It's not about the only work, but you can chat through overall company mission. I found it very helpful working in a remote setups. Just to quickly wrap up, unless you have any question, Microsoft Viva throughout the goals, connection, engage. There is much more, as Gareth already mentioned. All those tools helps your team stay focused, connect, and motivated. And this is really important when you think about upscaling and reducing the attrition. No matter how your business is growing or change, it's for me fantastic way just to set up your team for success. If there's anything, Gareth, you would like me to share or ask, please go ahead. Or anyone else on the call have
Really
any
good. I
question?
think we'll just give people a couple of minutes just in case there is anything that comes in on the chat. But I'd be interested to think around Viva Goals. So we've been using it for some time now, and yeah, what would you say the potential is for using goals on a project basis versus how you might potentially get started with it if you were a business owner and you potentially wanted to maybe roll this out, maybe start rolling this out to your team. I guess a good place to start might be with that senior team and trying to bring them all together to start discussing what they're actually shooting for. But I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it.
So for me, the main point when we do set up the goals, it's about employee well-being, connection, and growth. So let's put the scenario you are working with a team of 5 people remotely. It can be at the very beginning hard to know if everybody are on the same page, everybody are working towards the same goal. Viva Goals, you can see the real-time track of team's objective. You can see the tools. You can use the tools you already have. Like I mentioned, a team. So whenever you see anyone struggle, you get to the level of the issue, and you can track it, and you can get in smoothly and support. So this is what is the most important for me.
Yeah, it's super cool, right? Because it comes up with KPIs and it starts to prompt you as you're going through your goals and asking you to check in with it. And it's almost like it's like the mentor or the manager role, where it's kind of imitating little pieces of that, I guess. But yeah, it's certainly useful from my perspective as an individual, sort of going in there and logging things. And what I really liked is there's a whole bunch of templated objectives which you could use and shape. So you didn't need to start from nowhere. you could really use some of those co-pilot scenarios to help drive forwards an implementation and speed that up as well.
You can access it's quite transparent tool as well, so you can access other employees goals, but as you mentioned, as a manager or as a senior leader, you can also track the bigger picture of organization goals. So there is actually no limit, and it really works nicely, give you the piece, and you can customize as well, you can tailor it to your own needs. You can run the report, you can create auto notification. So there is not really much limitation when you think about this goal. You can just play as you go, and find a way which will actually meeting your own expectation, because everybody has a different needs or a different level of requirement.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I remember we were working together in a year with one particular prospect, and we were looking at the language used in that tool. And the Microsoft were quite heavy on this thing called OKRs, which was a bit weird when the tool's called goals. But the nice thing about it is you can change the language in there as well. So you don't have to have OKRs. It can be goals. It can be other things as well. So there's some just parameterization in there as well, which really made it quite useful, I think, in terms of a setup perspective.
That's correct. If the language is not meeting your company alignment, you can always go and switch. There are pre-setup words, but you can also customize as you prefer. So it's amazing how high capability it has.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And I'm really excited by Insights, so I need to talk about it. But Insights, I mean, we'll see it in a moment and on some of the demo materials. It's got two kind of lenses really. That well-being angle, which we've been using and moving through, whereas you've also got the high level angle as well, which at scale you could see. I think it's actually if you've got over 10 people in your team, then you start to see insights. Otherwise, it won't reveal anything because it might be a bit sensitive around privacy and that sort of thing. And there's some real considerations that have gone into the privacy angle, which we won't cover today, but you can read about it if you want to. But yeah, the well-being piece around there, and we talked about the red flags. And the reason I did that earlier is that in Insights, you've got this like, how do you feel today? It's a reflections, and it's like, wow, I don't feel good. I feel happy. And I remember using this and sort of experimenting on myself over the last few years, and sort of thinking, well, why am I feeling down today? And some of those things about where you're heading and your career and all of those sorts of things can be reflected in insights. But that's just my own sort of take on it. Be really interested to hear on your thoughts and views on it.
Yes, that's a great question, actually. When you think about the insight, I feel like it's a constant pulse, on how your team is doing. And when I joined the team a year ago, it was actually surprising to me that the system started giving some suggestion around the breaks time, which I never booked in my calendar. And obviously, the system is smart in a way, is reading, because it's backup of the data, is reading the patterns which the team members are going through and doing the small recommendation, suggesting a focus time. It can even creating no meeting on Friday if the system is feeling like you are working either a late hours or too long, which for an HR professional is just a tool you need to control and balance the time your employee are working in. So I remember at the very beginning, I was very surprised, like, why is suggesting me to take a break? And then I understood the system is very smart. It's actually telling me you need to take a break because you actually are gonna burn out in a very short time of period. So this tool in particular make it so easy to catch those issues, those patterns you have within the team, and actually giving the recommendation that you don't need to have a second thought. Is everything given for you on hand? amazing tool to use.
Yeah, super. That's really great to hear. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the call? Let's have a quick look through the chat window, see if there's anything coming through. If you do have any questions, maybe you're watching this and afterwards and think about your own well-being balance, taking a break at the moment and reflecting this at a time which suits you in the day, then please do reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help you. I can't say anything else, and I'm conscious of time. We've got around about 15 minutes left of this session today, so I think what this would be a good point to do is to move on and to show you a couple of these tools which we've been chatting about today. But it'd be great for those of you who are joining us while playing back. If you're watching this, then please give us a thumbs up if some of these topics are really resonating with you and the teams that you work in. That'd be absolutely great. Anyway, we are just going to shuffle a couple of bits and pieces around here. As I say, we've got some demonstrations now, which we're going to go through. And what I'm going to do is bring into view an experience, essentially. It's a view of an employee experience which combines feedback and workplace data to help improve engagement scenarios and impact business performance. So this is almost like you start scaling up from your micro business, SMB level up. All of these tools, by the way, can be used for micro businesses up, but there's a success pathway, I would say, depending on your size, right through to enterprise level and tens of thousands of people. And some of those insights will get more and more interesting depending on what you are looking at. But here, we're going to take a look at what the system can provide us in terms of an out-of-the-box type of experience. So the first one is around workforce analytics and feedback. So just bringing this interview for yourselves now. Let's go full screen on it. We are here as Chris. So I'm not going to read these out verbatim. You can read what's on the screen yourself. I'm going to take you through around about 16 slides there that you can see. So this is a survey. It's coming out in Glint, which we talked about earlier. It's a signal survey. It's going to take a few minutes for Chris to go through this and provide a response. You can tailor this. It could be a net promoter score, any types of things that you want to build in, depending on what you're trying to diagnose within your organization. Chris submits those response. Now, what Microsoft have actually been doing for a large number of years now, we've been heavily investing in the actual science of workforce analytics. And there was a whole thing around workforce analytics and work with some very, very large organizations to build together some super interesting intelligence, which is now driving forwards some of the recommendations and things that you're going to be seeing Viva Glint take an action on. So got the feedback in, and now Megan is going to take action. So she can see through her dashboard here, you've got different focus areas, feedback, pulse surveys, etc., all in a very slickly presented dashboard. We're going to drill into the reporting area of this, take a look at one of many different types of reports and things that we've got here, which can be linked to very important DEI initiatives, succession initiatives, all sorts of things. We've got the heat map report here, and we're taking a look at some of these high risk hotspots. So we're really moving from this sort of point of transactional HR to what we've all been aspiring to get to for so long in human resources, which is having this strategic information to hand so we can have quality, strategic driven chats with people about how to make positive impacts in their business. through a variety of different ways. So we can see the high risk hotspots. We can scroll down that report and take a look at everything that's needed in there. And we need some assistance here. So this is like the co-pilot part of it. It's interpreting, it's helping us interpret some of these results that we're seeing. So this is kind of like the HR business partner area in a way, that we're looking through some of these things. We're seeing the prioritization of the details. Now, we probably don't want to take this verbatim. We might want to have a conversation here with the likes of our partners, maybe other mentors, managerial mentors, those sorts of things. But we can start to benchmark our team against company averages on particular points. So this whole awareness and being aware of how you manage, of how you lead, how you engage with people in a team. There's some really interesting behavioral insights here that we can start to drill into and take a look at. Now, yeah, so you can switch these tools on, switch them off, but clearly this is a leap. This would be a leap for some organizations to start thinking about what a successful manager role, a leader role looks like, and how you might want to make sure that they are doing things based on intelligence from telemetry on their team, which you kind of hope you're doing anyway. But here it makes it much more visually transparent, and that has got to be a good thing. So we've had a few looks at things in there, and what we're going to do is see what Copilot can provide us. So Copilot being Microsoft's AI assistant, in terms of some of the feedback which has been captured in here and how that can be moved along as part of this particular scenario. So as we've already mentioned, that got the friendly dashboards and everything here. But here we're bringing in on the right hand side Microsoft Copilot, which links nicely into what Jolanta was saying earlier about hybrid work. It flips, it flops to whether people should be in the office, out of the office. Yeah, success can happen when you trust people and you've got transparency, you've got clear structures. But let's see what Copilot thinks about all of this. So it's taken some of these signals. Well, it's provide us almost like a little bit of mentoring. And if we wanted to make sure that was driven by science, we could ask for referenceable results in the prompts, that sort of thing. But it's helping us drive this through as a manager using all of the telemetry, which we've been building up there. And so there are so many areas of insights that we could go into here. It's a very exciting piece of functionality, essentially, which Microsoft have been working on and bringing together for a number of different years. And we're going through here, we're quickly building a report on hybrid work and the impacts and everything else as we go through this particular assessment, drawing together our statistics as part of this experience. And now we've got the example of the pulse survey. We can draw these things out. So we started off this experience filling out a questionnaire, but here we are again in the background. We can create a new pulse survey. We've got templated approaches to this, and we can simply put these things out. Now, what you need to do, obviously, is think about this from a development point of view, sort of development management point of view, really. You know, what you're trying to do in terms of interventions, what are you seeing as potential challenges around some of these areas that we've been working on. So I'm conscious we've only got a few minutes left. I think we have to talk about well-being and keep you for longer than we have to today. So I'm going to quickly change over to one of the other experiences which we really wanted to show you today, and this is around the well-being point as well. So bringing into view very quickly, just so we've got a couple of minutes just in case there are any questions that we want to chat through as we talk through. So this, again, we're changing hats again. Maybe I'll get a physical hat. Let's say seasonality's coming up. Maybe next week is Christmas jumper time, hat and jumper time. But here we've got Viva Insights, and we have got the hat on as an employee. So this is the type of thing that you might see. Now, Viva Insights is free to a level. You can use it. You can get reflections. I really love the Headspace apps which are enabled in here. But data-driven insights say we've been talking about planning your day, having focused time, quiet time, that sort of thing. We've also been using this as a team. It's really key to provide positive feedback. And there's a whole, by hundreds of books around this. It's really important to give people positive feedback because that's the way we grow, essentially, without taking an entire session up talking about the psychology of it, but it encouraged us to grow, and we know where we're going, right, where we can continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So these apps that we've got within here, and you can embed these within Teams, as you see here, we can provide different badges, we can provide feedbacks, but the experience is richer here. We talked slightly about Dynamics HR, which can also provide feedback, but here we've got an experience and it's embedded in Teams, and we can give people the badges. We can recognize where people have been doing a great job, whatever we want to say to them, and that goes off to them and they get that engagement experience. You can look on your past praise as well. So you've got these reflections, these personal reflections, but again, you can just switch this on and think, oh, well, we've done it. But the reality is you need to talk about this. You need to talk about this as an organization. You need to talk about this as a culture, why this is important, and authentically embrace it for the reasons that you need to as an organization. It's giving us a quick overview of our trends there. We can see, like we were touching on earlier, that we can take in virtual breaks. It's making recommendations to us. Now, it does kind of need you to engage in the Microsoft 365 environment and manage your calendar. It's not got a crystal ball. So it needs to understand how you are working and the types of meetings that you're having and those sorts of things. But this was a really, really useful tool. And if you go through this, you've got access to various different articles, meditations, all sorts of things, which really mentor you on a day-to-day basis in your business. Now, I'm going to stop there because we are really at time. It's been a really exciting point today, and I'd like to thank everyone for your time. But before we go, I did promise you some very special treats. So first of all, if there's any final questions, please drop them into the chat. I'm sorry that we haven't got around to every single question that we've seen on the chat today, but we'll follow them up. So do not worry. Please feel free to reach out to us. And if I just put these ones back down, there is a link here. You can book a 15-minute short call with us and we can talk about any of the things we've been talking about in this weekly series of events. Bonus gifts are coming. Stay build. Here are the promised links. We're providing this on a weekly basis. You could be in any part of an organization and find value from this Copilot scenario library. You can see over there all of the functional areas. Microsoft provide lots of free materials to help you get up and running. We can also help you get up and running. There is a bonus library QR code there that will take you through to the Lightrise library of interesting things, which has got all sorts of ebooks, blogs, links, and fascinating tech pieces around the employee experience journeys. But here it is, drumroll, as an extra special thank you. We have free 250 HR user stories. If you use this QR code, provide us your details, we will provide you a list of user stories associated with standard processes. Now, it doesn't sound, it's not the speedboat, but I'll tell you why this is useful if you don't know anything about user stories. A user story, and this is what I tell people, is a common language to that you can speak with an organization that hopefully all teams and departments will understand, because a user story is structured a bit like you might structure a prompt in a certain way. And it would be something like, as a manager, I want to be able to see all of my employees' leave and holidays on a dashboard. So that's essentially your shopping list of needs, or some people might call those requirements. But you need to make them as specific as you possibly can. But the good thing about user stories is so they provide that common language. You can then reflect on it in terms of the points in your process. And when you are implementing things, it makes the testing of a solution and the process, so the people-orientated bits of it, much more useful. We can go and talk about user stories as much as you want if you want to book in a 15-minute chat. But anyway, sign up here and you will get your free user stories. Great for implementations, speeding up. And what we really would like you to do is accelerate into 2025 with these. So thank you very much for listening today and engaging with us. It's been great to have you all here, and I look forward to welcoming you again next week, when we'll be taking another deep dive as part of our GenAI business solutions series. Thank you very much for attending, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Take good care.
Thank you all.